Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Bako Show. I'm your host, Bako Ambianda. Today guest is a dynamic individual who has achieved greatness in the aviation industry. Captain Solomon Quainoo is a Ghanaian airline captain working with Amsterdam Aviation, a private jet charter company in Ghana. He previously worked with Emirates Airline based in Dubai and flew the world's biggest passenger airplane, the Airbus A380, and the first person to captain the A380 flight to the Kotoka International Airport. Prior to Emirates, he was with British Airways, and he was awarded in 2019 the 3G Aviation Man of the Year and was named the 2019 Aviation Man of the Year in West Africa by Balafon Aviation Awards, and won the African Travel 100 Person at the African Diaspora Tourism Conference. Captain, it's been a pleasing pleasure as well as a privilege having you on the Bako Show today. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me here.
I mean, you recently launched a book, Flutter Until You Fly. I read the book and it was very, very inspirational. And my first question that I just need to ask you is, what inspired you to write that book?
Okay, so I entered aviation. It's been my childhood passion to become a pilot. And all along, I thought that it was just me yearning to become a pilot and fly planes, travel everywhere. But in 2018, when I was selected to captain the 380 to Ghana, which I did, it sort of lifted the whole nation of Ghana and Africa, actually. And a lot of kids started looking up to me, asking questions. We always wanted to be pilots. We wanted to be this. We thought it was beyond us. How did you do it? So with all the questions and all the kids coming up to me, I started mentoring them and trying to inspire them. And I realized that telling each person, trying to inspire each person in a certain wouldn't help. So I thought, why don't you put your story together and share with the world? If I share with the kids, it will inspire them. And in inspiring them, I can also use the process from the book to empower them. It's not enough to just inspire people, but when you inspire them, at least you give them hope and you give them the means to get to where they want to be. So my main reason, two main reasons for writing the book is one, to inspire the youth, and then to empower them.
And I noticed that your upgrowing was not easy. You worked as a cleaner, you worked at a you've done so many odd jobs. And just tell us how difficult was it, like, to leave from that tough growing up to becoming a great and remarkable pilot?
It was, to say that it was difficult is an understatement, because looking at my life story, having nowhere to stay from very young and tender age, and begging people to have roof over our head, and cramping into one room with, even when it rains. We know how the rain is in Africa. When it rains, some of the leaks in the room creates what we call swimming pool or muddle. And it was very difficult. And to have that vision to persevere, even some of my family members doubted me and told me, stay in your lane. Forget about this dream of becoming a pilot. People laughed at me. And so it was very difficult in terms of finances, in terms of the path, in terms of guidance. It was very difficult, but I persevered.
Yeah, and there's a saying that when you tell people your dream and they don't laugh at you, it means your dreams are too small. But at some point, because you mentioned that people laughed at you, your friends laughed at you, and at some point, did you doubt it yourself?
I didn't doubt myself, but I looked at myself. I looked at the means and the where I was and where I was aiming to get to. I didn't know how to go about it. It was so difficult. I didn't have any doubt about myself at all. I was just frustrated and asking myself how, all the time. And because of that, if you read in the book, some of my grades didn't go as well as they were meant to go because I was always thinking, asking things, and it was a blessing in disguise with my grades because maybe if I had achieved the required grades at certain times, I would have probably gone a different direction.
But you got refused entering into the Air Force at the beginning.
Yes, I wasn't refused. I passed all the assessment, but I didn't make the initial grade requirement. I passed all the Air Force assessment, but they were requiring certain minimum grades from my A level, and I didn't achieve that. So it sort of disqualified me from getting into the Air Force.
One fascinating thing, when I was talking about, I have to have an interview with you yesterday, just in the evening, I was watching the documentary of Cristiano Ronaldo on Netflix. And at some point, the mother mentioned that she wanted to abort Cristiano Ronaldo. But the pastor said, this boy is going to become a great person today. And Cristiano Ronaldo is one of the best players they all have seen. And you had a similar thing in your book. You mentioned about your mother wanting to abort you. How did that make you feel as a child, knowing that your mom told you that she wanted to abort you?
Yes, life, as I said earlier, was very difficult with a lot of hardships, lack of money, nowhere to live. And we had some relatives living with us as well. So my mom thought wisely that she's got 5 kids. There is no need to add another one to the kids because life was tough for her. So I understand her reasoning. But one day, I think my dad was very fast for her. And then she got pregnant. And then, so she, as you rightly said, she decided to abort me, and then she was advised not to. She thankfully discussed it with a pastor, and the pastor advised her not to. Back to the question, how did I feel when she told me? I felt, usually people will feel that, I'm unwanted, but I felt very happy that I'm a unique person, that though my mom didn't plan or wanted me, I know that I'm a special person. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been here. She would have aborted me, but because God has something special for me, that is why I came here. So I didn't blame my mom. I understood where she was coming from, but after she told me the story, it made me feel that I am special and God has something special for me to achieve on this earth.
And along the journey, when did you feel like you had that magic moment in your life where the future seems to be unknown? Like you felt like the future is dark. When was that magic moment for you?
Well, after, mainly after my university in Ghana, University of Ghana, I went to the UK and I was doing all sorts of menial jobs, construction labor, cleaning, pizza delivery guy. My friends I was at the university with were working as engineers, geologists, medical doctors, and here I was being a cleaner and a laborer. And in the winter, during my break, I'll go and sit at Hyde Park. We were refurbishing some hotels around the Hyde Park area. So I'll go and sit at Hyde Park. And without any jacket, it would be snowing. And I would just be sitting and crying and then asking myself, how is it going to happen? So I think those periods were very dark moments for me because I thought my friends were way ahead, and I didn't know my left from my right, where I was 10. And yeah, so it was very difficult at the time.
When you're talking about your time in UK, I know you went through a moment where you felt like everything was moving right. You got the approval to be trained at British Airways, and just of a sudden the 9/11 happened and everything was just coming to an end. How did you overcome that challenge? And just tell us how the whole moment, how did you felt like things were moving, and all of a sudden all these disaster happened, and how did you overcome it?
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of was a bit of a deja vu. You know, most of the time I go so close, and then something blocks it. I go so close, and the Air Force is a typical example that I got so close. I was one of the best in the assessment at the Air Force, but my grace prevented me. And then here was me at British Airways. Now I have the moment, and I have the opportunity to be trained and paid for by British Airways. And then something happens that destroys it. I asked myself, why? Why me? Why me? And then I sat down and I thought, no, this is the moment. I'm not giving up. I am going to that training. And so the same course British Airways was going to take us on, I decided I was going to go to that and do that course. I didn't have the money. I didn't know where the money was coming from, but I said, no, now is the time. I'm going for the course. So I started researching, looking for options, and then found possibilities of loans, and then applied. They said, you'll give me the loan. When the time came, so many issues.
I read about a friend that kept telling you that he will give you a loan and you will not pick up the call when you call. But one thing that stood out for me was the friend that opted to give his property for loan.
Yes.
So tell us about that. Like, do you think in the world that we live today, where people are very self-centered, like how impactful was that person in your life at that time?
It's not even just one person, it's two friends, because initially the one with his wife who opted to use their property as a collateral, I went to show it to the bank manager, and he said, no, it's not enough. So another person has to add his property as a collateral. Coming back to the question, yes, these days it's very difficult to find selfless people who will help you in this situation. I don't blame some of these people, because people try to take advantage. You can't trust people. And what I tell the youth these days is that if these two friends didn't trust me, they wouldn't have given their property as a collateral. So what we are doing now, how we relate to our friends, any person we come into contact with, we have to be truthful. We have to be, we have to relate to them in an honest and truthful way, because we don't know who will be our helper in our journey. But if we are truthful and honest, it gets to a point they will sacrifice themselves for you. And if they cannot trust you, they won't do that.
So you are trying to say it is based on how you portrayed yourself, how you carried yourself, how truthful and honest that made your friends to feel like they can go all out for you.
That's correct.
And do you think that was part of like your upgrowing? Because I noticed at some point when you were growing up, in your book you mentioned how you would dress like a pilot, and you will feel like you are you are flying a plane. How important is believing in your dream for you? Like, how important do someone have to believe in their dream?
When you have a dream, there will be a lot of stumbling blocks. You will hit dead ends, and then a lot of disappointments. If you don't believe in the dream, you will easily give up and turn to another thing, because there are various options When I was growing up, I could have become an architect. I could have done this. I could have done that. And there were times I was making reasonable money, but I said no. When I was an engineer, for example, with British Airways, people would die to do that job, and out of maybe 100 people who apply for that job, maybe 5 will be successful. But here I was working with the best airline in the UK and one of the best in the world as a design engineer, taking decision making, a lot of involved in a lot of projects, amazing high technology projects, and anybody would die to be there. But if you don't believe in your dream, you get there and you think, this is mine, there is no need to continue. But believing in your dream will make you stay focused all the time.
Yes.
But there might be other distractions, seemingly good things, but it will help you to stay focused to the dream.
Did you ever feel like giving up?
At some point, yes, you look at it and you look at the challenges and the means, you feel like, why don't you even forget it? But for some strange reason, every time it will come back to me.
Yeah.
It will come back to me. So I had no choice but to persevere.
Let's say if you had to live your life all over again, what would you have done differently?
I don't know what I would do differently, but probably plan a lot better. I was lucky. I met some great angels who helped me in so many ways. And the book I wrote, I'll come back to the question, is, as I was saying, is to inspire the youth and to empower them. However, with the writing of the book, is also for these kind of angels, who have the means to help me empower the youth. And I want them to be involved with the foundation to buy the book, put them in their schools, because every little kid, I believe, deserves to read this book. I gave some to my security guys, the cleaners, and it's changing their life. They are changing and they are realizing they can do it. So growing up, what would I have done differently? Well, probably have found myself maybe some great mentors. Like now, I'm trying to
Be the
mentor for the youth who do not know where to turn. One of the things I would have done was to probably find myself a great mentor, learn from them, and help me along the journey. In terms of the path I went through, of course, I would have preferred a smoother path and an easier path, but I don't think I had the choice to change that direction.
And you had to make some very tough decisions along the way. And we're going to get to that point of that inspirational aspect of your foundation. But tell us about that transition from British Airways to Emirates, because reading the book, I felt like there is a lot that young people need to learn from you, because the generation we live today, so many people have great ideas, dreams, but they give up along the way. And sometimes they settle. They feel like, oh, I've made it. And then they realize that, oh, where they are after a period of time, they have settled and they don't have a way to continue. But I could see you moving from this to this and moving from British Airways to Emirates and having that dream that you're going to be a captain with the biggest passenger plane, and finally you made it. How was it for you?
Yes, we touched on believing, and I always, through the difficulties, I was always imagining myself, picturing myself doing what I want to do. So, for example, when I was chauffeur or minicab driver driving to Heathrow and back, I will see the British Airways airplanes on approach, and I'll picture myself to be the pilot in the plane, flying that plane. And a lot of the planes I used to picture myself in when I joined British Airways, it was the first airplane I flew for British Airways. So I sometimes when we dream, we see the dream as this and that's it. But then I ask myself, what next? What next? All the time. So I was in British Airways. No one leaves British Airways. I was a design engineer. Everybody will kill to be there. I stopped, went for flying. I stayed focused. Finished the flying, worked with BMI. I thought, this is not the airline I want. I want British Airways. Went to British Airways. And then nobody leaves British Airways as a pilot. And then I had to make that decision to leave for Emirates. And then when I went to Emirates, saw myself, when we did the tour, I went to sit in the 380, the captain seat, and I said to myself, closed my eyes, and I said, I'm a captain of the 380. I'm a captain of the 380.
Wow.
So I always picture what I want to be in my head, and I play it over and over and over until it becomes a reality. So what pushes me to do that is I ask myself, what next? What next? Because I don't believe in that I have arrived, because the dream of becoming a pilot, as I said earlier, is supposed to lead to other things. And I ask myself, what is that? And that is why I keep pushing forward, and I keep pushing.
Will you say it is preparation that met opportunity? Or because I noticed at some point in your book that you had to ask yourself that all the self-education you've had to take, you can't leave it. So you had to keep striving. So how important is that?
Of course, preparation is very, very important. And people sometimes say that, oh, you were lucky. You were lucky. And someone told me the acronym for luck sometimes. So let's say you mentioned Cristiano Ronaldo. He's very talented. But what stands him out from the others is that after training, he goes back and practice and practice and practice and practice. And all these great people, they go beyond what the ordinary person you do. And someone also said that the successful and unsuccessful, they have one thing in common. They don't want to wake up very early in the morning and read or do whatever. They don't want to stay at night and do things. They don't want to do it. But the difference between the successful and unsuccessful is that the successful people will do it anyway. They don't want to do it, but they'll wake up and do it because they want to be successful. So coming back to that luck, they said, you labor under the correct knowledge. So L is labor, that is working. You under C, correct knowledge. If I have the correct knowledge, I'll always be lucky. If Cristiano Ronaldo knows that if I bend it this way and practice and practice, and he's got the knowledge, so he will always be lucky scoring the goals.
And you're very right when you mentioned that, because one thing that I actually really learned from your book was, wow, Captain was a very resourceful person. I noticed you mentioned about finding a scholarship that was fulfilled, finding this program. And I think the generation of today are not going out for those resources that can help them from point A to point B. What do you have to say about that?
The current generation, unfortunately, because they have everything instant at their fingertips, do not want to research. Sometimes I mentor people and they will ask me a certain question. I said, in my days, we didn't have Google. We didn't have AI. So all you have to do is to just Google and read yourself. Some of these things you don't have to effort for themselves. They have to make the effort, do the work, because I'm mentoring them, but they don't expect me to do the work for them. You have to do the work for themselves. I'll guide them, but they have to do the work for themselves.
there is one great personality I follow a lot, Les Brown. He always mentioned that when someone tells you that you cannot do something, it takes about 100 people to tell you you can, to neutralize that time that one person have told you that you cannot do something. Did you have people along your journey who told you you can't be a pilot?
Yes, so many of them. I mean, from the first time I said I'll be a pilot, all my friends laughed at me, apart from one. There were times we were in church and we were going through some courses, and one guy laughed at me. This guy said he wanted to build a bank. But when I said I wanted to be a pilot, he told me your dream is too big. So how is becoming a pilot bigger than building a bank? You know, he believed in his dream, but he didn't believe in my dream. And there were a lot of people who told me I couldn't make it, but there were equally good people who told me you are very intelligent, you are smart, you can do it. And the most important thing is I believed in myself. Regardless what people said about me, I believed in myself. There were, when I was in secondary school, maybe the way I was very nice and always relating very well and laughing with people. Some of my seniors will look at me and tell me that this guy is such a foolish boy. He doesn't know anything, you know, and this, that. But I didn't allow these things to dampen my spirit or limit me.
So how did you face situations like, I noticed when the 9/11 happened, your wife told you that, look, people are having accidents and you are trying to go and be a pilot. How did you have to stay strong and firm and focus with all those things happening?
Yeah, I think probably one, my belief that this is what I have to do. And two, because I've done aerospace engineering, I know what goes into airplane designs. I had read a lot on accident investigation, airplane accident investigations, and things like that as well. So I had the knowledge that even when my sister we were watching it live when the second plane hit the tower, and my sister told me, "Look, why do you want to be a pilot?" And I said, "This is not a problem with the plane. I think there is something definitely wrong because the plane cannot just go and hit a building, but there is something going on. We didn't have the full picture." So my background knowledge also helped me, and my belief helped me that I know about airplanes. They don't crash all the time, you know. And they did a survey in the UK, and they said that even the number of people who die on UK roads alone is like one big aircraft crashing every day. And we don't have a big aircraft crashing every day. And I knew that aviation is the safest form of transportation. So I knew that that is not the usual aviation. But
then what was your worst day as a pilot?
My worst day as a pilot, when I probably joined my first company, there were some people who didn't like me and they were doing lots of things. And I think those times were some of the worst times as a pilot. I don't know what their problem was. They just wanted to get rid of me from my company and were spreading bad rumors. But I let my talent show. And they were told of by the chief pilot and then the management of the company.
And I'm sure as a pilot, so many people would like to know, particularly some of us that we travel also a lot. Have you had the situation where you're on the air and having all the turbulence and you had to feel like, oh, this is it, this is the end?
I've had a lot of, one of the worst turbulence from New York to Dubai. It was really, really bad. But as I said, if you have the knowledge, you know the capabilities, and I know turbulence will not bring the plane down.
Okay.
It just feels uncomfortable. As far as you are seated, you've secured yourself, you'll be fine. The turbulence will not bring the plane down. So I've gone through terrible. Yeah, but I'm never afraid that it will kill me. No.
I do that. So let's talk about your foundation. What is the mission and the vision for the foundation?
And with the foundation, as I mentioned earlier, I found myself struggling to become what I wanted to be. Uh, Finding the financial means, finding the guidance and mentors to help me, direct me and guide me to where I wanted to be. So I set up the foundation just for that, to help people, not necessarily only those who want to be pilots, but those who want to, they have a dream. They want to get to the dream, and we mentor them, we guide them, and if required, we do what we can financially to support them. So currently, we pay fees for a lot of people, school fees, talented guys. There's really sometimes we get the schools to select the people and pay for their fees. There is a school in the Presbyterian Women College of Education. We pay fees for students, maybe 10 to 20 students a year. And we will increase that per sec. We have a program where they guide talented guys to get admission to some of the Ivy League schools in the US, and I'm part of it. We guide them, we pay money for their registration fees and all that. And we guide them on their SAT preparation. We give them the materials, and then we teach them how to fill the application, and then they write a SAT, do well, and most of them all of them get full scholarship to Ivy League schools in the US and other countries. And there are others also very good who do not get admission to the Ivy League schools, but can't even afford the form to apply for the universities.
Okay.
There was one guy who got 8 A's and didn't have the money to even travel to the university for interview, medical student. So when we pay for these people, we pay for the accommodation, we pay for their fees, and they get admission so they can go and become who they want to be, because they've got the talent. It's just money that hinders them, transportation, maybe to adversities, and they can't afford it. And there are so many people like that. One of my friends, he's got a property in Kumasi, Mexican University, and we work on it. We renovate it, and we give it out free to about 50 students who stayed there for free while they are in the university. So these are the things the foundation is doing. So we guide these people, mentor them. I mentored the aerospace group at Present, and we are trying to set it up at Kotoka Tech and various schools. There is a school in Kumasi, a Fiapobi school, young girls who are building drones and planes and things like that. We built a runway for them. We help build a runway for them by contributing financially, and we help them with their programs, building the services, things like that. So the foundation is to inspire our youth and empower them. And we don't have any limit. Anything we can do to educate the people and get them to where they have to be, we will do our best.
And how can people get in contact with the foundation? Is there a website?
We had the website, it's down, but we are going to try and bring it up again. Currently, I've done everything by my own means, from my own pocket and with the book. But we want to get about the website and then put a lot of the things we've done on there and help people to contribute and help empower the youth, the angels I talked about, to contribute, to buy the books, put it in the schools, get the kids to read it, be inspired, and then we show them what is possible as well. We will get the website back up and running, because we set up the website just before 2020, and because of the COVID, things slowed down a bit. Yeah.
So currently, where can people find your book, the copies of your book?
If they Google the title, Flat Until You Fly, they will have a lot of options to buy. They have the ebook, they have the PDF option, We have audiobook. I think the audiobook is out now, and you can order from Amazon and various online uh, 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 online sites where they can get the book. Also, if people are in Ghana and they cannot find the book, I have numbers here they can call, and then it will guide them on how to get the book.
Please, can we have some of the number?
Okay. And also they can get on my Instagram account, which is the Captain underscore Captain Quainoo underscore 380.
Do you do speaking engagements?
Yes, I do speaking engagements. I go to the KNUST. Sometimes the aerospace guys, they call me, and I go and speak in the UK. I do a lot in the UK for Fantasy Wings to inspire young people and various schools with Reuters. We do a lot of work with Reuters as well.
I was going to ask you, your story is very inspirational. What is next for you? Are you thinking to have float down to fly one day, become a movie?
Yes, it's one of the things I have thought about, and a lot of people who have read it have told me that it has to be a movie. Yes. So it's one of the things we are exploring, and I'll discuss it with the publishers, because I've come across a few people. They tell me we will do this, we'll do that, but they don't show up. But I'm sure definitely we will find a way to make it into a movie.
Right now, at this point in time in your life, what gives your life a sense of fulfillment?
I don't know if I find myself fulfilled yet. I feel there is a lot I can do to help the youth and those coming up. I drive around and sometimes I see the kids begging on the street, and I weep inside. So I feel that if I can help get these people off the street and get them to where they want to be, then I think I'll be fulfilled. I'm happy I achieved my aim as a pilot. We are currently running a private charter business in Ghana, private jets. We are getting some helicopters and things like that. And so that is what I'm managing now. I still fly anyway, but in terms of fulfillment, if I can help the youth get to where they want to be, if I can help set up all these aviation schools in Ghana, to help train our people here in Ghana, I think probably that will help me.
You were a young person who thought about becoming one of the best pilots in Ghana, flying the biggest passenger airplane and becoming a pilot from a neighborhood that you didn't find a lot of people with that similar dreams. You made it possible. I believe there are a lot of young people with bigger dreams, with big dreams in their own, but they are sitting somewhere and telling themselves they can't. What is that one message you can tell them?
It's possible. They can. They have to believe, and they can. And what guys, regardless of their situation, their resources, they can do it.
When times get hard for you, what gets you going?
When times get hard, I just pray. I pray and I look at the past, and I say, if I've been able to move from that past to here, I can get to where I'm going to.
And what is your favorite quote?
In the military, they don't wait for war to prepare. They prepare before the war. Because if you don't prepare before the war, when you go to war, you will die. So they are always prepared for. In the military, when there is no war, they are always preparing. They strategize, they do this, they do that, always getting ready. So as soon as the war comes, they are ready. As you said, opportunity needs preparation.
Captain, it's been a very pleasing pleasure having this conversation with you. Your book is so inspirational. Your journey is so inspirational. I believe so many young people need to pick a copy of your book and just read to understand that everything is possible. And I just wanted to thank you for being part of people's life and being that Ghanaian who had that that preparation that made opportunity, because lastly, there was a point in your book that I said, what God has made for someone, no one can stop it. You had a British passport, you were in Emirates, they appointed you, they selected you to be the first person to fly the biggest passenger airplane to open up the Kotoka International Airport. You thought it was because you were Ghanaian. They didn't know that. Like, how did that make you feel?
I felt very happy, very happy, very proud to be a Ghanaian. And also, I thank God for giving me the opportunity to be that inspiration to the youth. And I thought when they told me about it and all the interviews and camera preparation for the flight, I thought that thank God. And now I understand why I had to become a pilot.
And as we get to the conclusion, how did you come about with the title Flutter Until You Fly?
Yes, I thought about my life, how difficult it was. And yes, you try to fly and you fall down, you try to move, you fall down here and there, but it didn't stop me. So we thought that, okay, yes, keep trying until you get there.
During the launch of this book, you had so many dignitaries that were present, and how you making a presentation in front of so many people that have been along your journey, so many people that have walked with you, and so many people that you looked up to. How was it? How did you feel,
I felt very proud and very happy that this is the young person who nobody knew. People laughed at me. But thankfully, because of the talent and the hard work, I had all these dignitaries come and support me. And I couldn't have asked for more, because usually nobody would look at me when I was growing up and I was a kid. But now they came to support because they know, as the favorite one of the quotes saying that your talent will take you to kings, to the kings. And I thank God that I was able to persevere, hold and keep going, so that it will bring me closer to all these dignitaries.
They say when a man washes his hands, he sat down with keep. What is your last message to the young people?
My last message to the young people is that it is possible. Look at my life. It is possible, because my book is to show you what is possible. And I want you to get the book, read it, be inspired, and believe in yourself that you can get there regardless the challenges and the mountains you can climb to the top.
Thank you very much, Captain.
Thank you so much.